Good morning or good afternoon. First, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to give a short update on radiomics in nuclear medicine. As you are all aware of, in nuclear medicine, as in all imaging modalities, image content is very rich but often largely underexploited. Here is a striking example. Here you can see the FDG PET scan of a triple-negative breast cancer patient with high metabolic activity in the tumor with a necrotic region. This image content is mostly summarized by the value of a single voxel, here the SUV max, and possibly the reporting of the central necrosis, which is a very rough description of the image. This observation has led to the development of radiomics, which has been initially proposed as the high-throughput extraction of a large number of quantitative features from images that could be mined and used to create models for decision support. From a practical point of view, there are mostly two ways to perform radiomics. First, radiomics can rely on engineered features. These are defined by fixed mathematical formula regardless of the data. These include features based on the histogram of the signal within a region of interest, features that describe the spatial distribution of the signal or the shape of the tumor, or even more sophisticated features. Alternatively, radiomics can rely on deep features extracted using convolutional neural network. Unlike the engineered features, deep features are not defined a priori, but they are defined from the data. For instance, if the images contained a lot of rounded structures, one deep feature might encode the presence of rounded structures. There are currently plenty of software that can be used to extract radiomic features and subsequently combine them for building classification or prediction models. Given that there are plenty of such software, the number of research work on that topic increases fast. 22% of articles are reviews or opinion papers, and among the other papers, about 10% described methods for performing radiomic studies, while most papers report radiomic models. And focusing on PET only here, you can see that radiomic studies concern all organs, but mostly lung cancer, colorectal cancer, and head and neck cancer. And most studies are performed using FDG PET images, although there are some involving other tracers. Most often, radiomic models are built for prognostic tasks, or for predicting the response to treatment, or for classification tasks. Please note that radiomics is not limited to cancer and can be applied in neuroimaging, for instance. When it comes to clinical translation, here is what we have at the moment. Nothing. So to the best of my knowledge, no sophisticated radiomic model has been translated to the clinics. One of the reasons is that although we have hundreds of publications describing promising radiomic models, none of these models has been independently validated by several groups, which would be needed for clinical translation. So we can wonder why. The algorithm might be biased, they may suffer from reproducibility issues, or some may not be robust enough to perform well on a broad range of images. To reduce possible biases in radiomic models, the Radiomic Quality Score, or RQS, has been proposed. It consists of 16 quality criteria as shown here, and depending on how well each criterion is met, it scores a number of points, and the maximum value is 36, corresponding to 100%. However, this score has some limitations. In a paper that compared 41 studies and calculated their quality score, the best study, according to that score, had an RQS of 55%. Yet, a paper published 2 years after demonstrated that the radiomic signature developed in that study was only a surrogate of the tumor volume. So high RQS does not necessarily reflect a high-quality study. Still, there is hope. In a recent paper, a group from Italy reviewed articles on radiomics and also artificial intelligence over almost 30 years, and they assigned a quality score based on the QUADAS criteria. This score is not specific to radiomic studies, but still reflects the risk of bias. And this graph nicely shows both the increase over the year in the number of articles dealing with radiomics and AI, and the increase in quality, with the highest quality studies shown in gray and brown here. Another limitation affecting radiomic studies is the lack of reproducibility. In particular, the calculation of sophisticated radiomic features can be implemented differently. To reduce this variability, a consortium called the Image Biomarker Standardization Initiative has started a standardization process to agree on how radiomic features should be calculated. So they also offer benchmarks and associated data so that anyone can check that their results are compliant with their recommendations. On this graph, you can see the percentage of features with values that agreed strongly or very strongly between software in blue, and lower agreements are shown in yellow or red. So you can see that the agreement between the tested software increased over time as the different teams agreed on how the calculations should be implemented. And this standardization effort is still ongoing with introduction of more and more sophisticated features. And last, some model performance might vary significantly as a function of the image quality. For instance, here, a radiomic model was built to predict cervical cancer recurrence from baseline PET images. When the model was built from data acquired using a given scanner and tested on other images but coming from the same scanner, the results were pretty good. But when the same model was applied to images coming from a different scanner, then the model was almost useless. And the reason is that feature values depend on the spatial resolution and the noise in the images. So a radiomic model does not generalize well to different image quality. To address that problem in prospective studies, one can apply harmonization procedures such as the Earle criteria. Or, in retrospective or prospective studies, one can also use an harmonization strategy called COMBAT. This method realigns the distributions of any feature that appear to have different distributions when calculated from different image quality or from different scanners. And last but not least, the key to reproducible radiomics might be the understanding of the radiomic models. Radiomic signature can be quite involved, as you can see here, so it is difficult to understand which image features drive the model. And if we were able to understand the information the model relies on, we might be able to do some model re-engineering so as to produce simpler models that might be as efficient while being more robust and more easily explainable than complicated radiomic models. So to conclude, plenty of sophisticated radiomic models have been published, but clinical translation is lacking. To achieve clinical translation, most models still need thorough validation. The models should be reproducible so that others can independently test them. And of course, they should be useful compared to state-of-the-art quantitative image analysis. And ideally, they should be explainable. And this explainability might be the key to successful clinical translation. With that, I'd like to thank all my colleagues from the lab, all LifeX users, as well as our funding agencies and you for your attention. Thank you.